Before we jump into the strategy, let's quickly cover the important mechanics. He gains stacks at the start of its action, increasing its movement, and then gains even more stack at the end of the turn. Thankfully, we only need to reduce these stacks every turn. On hard difficulty, make sure to attack him from 3 or more tiles away, because each attack from that distance removes 1 stack and also help us complete the bounty achievement. The second important mechanic is Collapse. At the start of the action, he applies Collapse to the random unit within 1 ring. Normally, the only way to remove this debuff is by destroying the nearby devices. However, for this strategy, we don't need to worry about that. If you start with a 7 and Pochi will absorb the Collapse effect instead, allowing the rest of your team to stay safe while we quickly defeat the boss. Collapse prevents healing and also deal a large amount of fixed damage, so letting Pochi take that debuff makes this mechanic much easier to handle.
Nah, that's not for fixing. Move it. This is my signature move. こっちで何とかする。わかりました。はい。Broken parts, we're on it like oil on metal. Leave this to me. I won't let you down! It's prime time for some shooting! Stop fidgeting! Move it! Stop fidgeting! My turn now. My turn! I'll take it from here, personally! I'll help too! Got it!
Boss 2, Michaela. Michaela summons 3 holograms every turn. For every hologram that remains alive, she gains huge bonuses to dodge rate, hit rate and damage. That's why our first priority every turn is destroying all 3 holograms. Whenever a hologram is defeated, it grants 1 random buff to the attacker. The holograms can also dispel 1 buff when they attack your units. Now, here is the most important mechanic of the fight. Before attacking Michaela, your pilots need to have at least 7 buffs. If a pilot attacks her without enough buffs, Michaela will immediately move forward and activate powerful AoE attack. That attack can destroy half of your team and also ruin the main bounty achievement. So don't ignore Big Pochi, because it is extremely useful in this fight. Pochi can apply 2 buffs to 1 unit, and whenever your attacker destroys a hologram, try to remain within 3 tiles of Pochi. That's very important. This allows Pochi to grant another random buff to every pilot. For this strategy, we'll also be using Chloe, together with pilots that can attack body parts directly.
Your doctor has arrived. Leave the healing to me. Leave the healing to me.
Nowhere left to hide. I've got you. Just give the word. Who's calling me a nerd? Got eyes on the target. Got eyes on the target. Eyes peeled. Looking for the mark. Nowhere left to hide. I've got you.
Leave the healing to me. What's the call? Save lives or engage the enemy? Leave the healing to me. Necessary measures are being taken.
On the job, 100%.
Your doctor has arrived. Leave the healing to me. Your doctor has arrived. Leave the healing to me.
Just give the word. Eyes peeled, looking for the mark. Nowhere left to hide. I've got you.
White Flame gains different bonuses depending on whether she is standing on missed terrain. If she is standing on missed terrain, she gains re-attack. If she is not standing, she gains risk it all instead. The most important part of this fight is dealing with the rocket enemy first. That enemy fires a rocket every turn and creates missed terrain around the battlefield. Once we defeat or disable the rocket enemy, White Flame will gain the risk it all buff instead, allowing her to create gel conduction terrain. While this does make the fight more challenging, it's still the better option if you want to safely complete the bounty achievement. Gel conduction inflicts disarm and reduce movement by 1 whenever a unit stands on it. White Flame also gain additional damage for every gel conduction tile on the battlefield. The cannons can also apply disarm and reduce mobility by 2. So we will need to carefully move around these dangerous tiles while baiting or avoiding the boss attacks. That's the main idea behind the strategy we'll be using.
Strategic gear deployed. Target neutralized. Strategic gear deployed. All set.
Check out my latest invention!
I'm putting my faith in your judgment. Big achievements start with small steps.
Think you can mess with us? Think again!
I'm putting my faith in your judgment. To our noble cause.
They're gonna regret crossing us! I can do this!
Care for a little advice?
They're gonna regret crossing us!
Ready for commands. Strategic gear deployed. Flaw exposed. Strategic gear deployed.
What is this? You can count on me! Check out my latest invention! I'll give it all I've got. Let's kick this off! The team core! They're gonna regret crossing us! Let's do this! I'm ready! They're gonna regret crossing us!
Strategic gear deployed. All set. Target neutralized.
You can count on me!
Ready for commands.
I'm putting my faith in your judgment. Balance, my friends, is key.
I've noticed.
I'll give it all I've got. They're gonna regret crossing us! They're gonna regret crossing us!
Ready for commands.
Check out my latest invention!
On this difficulty, we can still chase this boss by completely ignoring the Titan and rushing down the main boss. However, before we jump into the clear, let's quickly cover the important mechanics, since they will become much more important on the higher difficulties. Whenever any enemy unit is repaired, Kaylen restore HP equal to 10% of the total repair amount. At the start of each action, he also gains stacks that further increase his healing. Thankfully, we can remove these stacks by triggering Link or Retaliation, making it much easier to keep his healing under control. Now, chain the buff. Whenever Kaylen is attacked, he applies chain the buff. Because of this, try to eliminate nearby enemies whenever possible. Otherwise, your units can end up taking multiple follow-up attacks while also suffering fixed damage every time they attack. And for Titan, the Titan itself isn't the threat on this difficulty since we'll be ignoring it completely. However, it's still worth knowing that every attack from the Titan grants additional stacks to Kaylen, making his healing even stronger. That's why this mechanic becomes much more important on the higher difficulties.
Come on! Faster hands, faster feet! Really think this through?
Any new angles? Useless resistance. No oversights here. Time to wake up. XR, it's showtime. No oversights here. Useless resistance. Nothing ever changes.